Yaoundé, Cameroon's home of basketball, the Palais de Sport. It's game day 6 of the FIBA Women's AfroBasket. As the top 8 teams of the tournament play today, only 2 will advance to the championship game tomorrow. We start with the position 5 to 8 classification games, doubleheader with the Les Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire playing against Mozambique. I'm Saleh Shani together with Uganda's finest Usher Komugisha, and we'll be taking you through today's game action. Mozambique's road to a podium finish was cut short by Senegal as Cote d'Ivoire couldn't rise above Nigeria, but with a more evenly matched opponents in this game, Usher, can Laetitia Sahi stay out of foul trouble to give Les Elephants an edge in this matchup?
Well, it's a very big ask of Cote d'Ivoire to defeat a team that has finished in the top 4 in the last editions of the AfroBasket. Mozambique reached the semifinals in Dakar 2 years ago and also in 2017, and will feel very disappointed with their performance here yesterday, but they have to quickly bounce back. That is what speaks to a professional player.
Well, Mozambique have had a tough journey to this classification game. They met very, very heavy opponents in the group stage in Senegal, Angola. They've also played Nigeria, lost all those games, and only managed to grab a win from Kenya. On paper, these two teams are actually decently matched up, but again, what you see on paper is very different from what you see on the floor. Mozambique, having played Cote d'Ivoire 4 times, have won every single game against them.
Well, obviously, looking at the Mozambican side, they come into this game with a lot of experience, and players like Annabella Cosa, who's playing at her 8th AfroBasket, that experience is expected to come into play today when they take on a very young and inexperienced Cote d'Ivoire side.
Well, you can see Coach Nasir Saleh on your screens over there, and we'll give the Mozambique squad a more appropriate introduction. Right now, the Cote d'Ivoire team is lining up, getting ready to head onto the floor, and the teams have really enjoyed seeing themselves in this little promotional video they have up on the Jumbotron. You can see it in the top right corner of your screens. I think the ladies have enjoyed this 26th edition of AfroBasket, celebrating 60 years of African basketball, and it's nice to see the energy on the Cote d'Ivoire bench as they get to head onto the floor. We have to mention Laetitia Sahi, Usher. She has been the sweetheart of the tournament, but even beyond that, she has really earned a spot in the All-Star top 5, and I'd be surprised if she does not get there.
Well, obviously, talking about Laetitia Sahi, she is the second highest scorer in this tournament with 63 total points in 4 games, averaging 15.8 per game. For a 21-year-old, that is incredible, and she is getting the perfect introduction to African basketball.
She fouled out in the last 2 games that Cote d'Ivoire play, and Cote d'Ivoire really going to need her presence for the full 40 minutes. But now let's have a pause in the commentary for the playing of the national anthems of Mozambique and Cote d'Ivoire.
Mesdames et messieurs, bien vouloir vous lever pour l'exécution des différents hymnes. DJ, nous allons commencer bien sûr par le Mozambique. Ladies and gentlemen, l'hymne du Mozambique. Mesdames et messieurs, l'hymne de la Côte d'Ivoire. Compétition organisée sous les conditions COVID-19, on se savait à distance.
And as we get ready here, let's take a look at the referees for this game. Najet Zinadjoui from Algeria, Saber Rezjoui from Tunisia, and Haytham Ihakov from Libya. Have a look at the Mozambique starting five. Mukauro, the engine of Mozambique, will lead the way. Tamara Seda, who has had to contend with some very big forwards in this tournament, she will have a bit of an advantage against Cote d'Ivoire. She has the size on the Cote d'Ivoire front court. And of course, Mozambique will be led by coach Nasir Saleh. No stranger to matters Mozambique basketball. And Asher has mentioned this several times before. Mozambique just had 4 days of preparation before this tournament, and the struggles have shown despite being put in the group of death with Angola and Nigeria. Let's take a look at the starting five for Cote d'Ivoire. Leading scorer, Diawara, Kani Kouyaté, Zainabou Sieza, Mariama Kouyaté, and Salimata Baird. The youthful 21, Laetitia Sahi, will come off the bench, but it's this five who are going to make sure Les Elephants get going. And they will be coached by Coach Igor Kovacevic. And he is a coach that is well known in Ivorian basketball circles, having coached the Abidjan base size ABC. And he's toured Africa coaching and leading basketball clinics, and actually also went to Rwanda, where he worked with the local heavyweights reg basketball. It's going to be an exciting day, Usher. I can sense it. Woke up feeling good. I'm sure the teams on this floor are disappointed they didn't make the final four of this tournament, but you know what? If they play well today, they can play again tomorrow and try and secure the top number 5, 6 positions here at AfroBasket.
Well, obviously, looking at Les Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire, they'll be looking to get into the top 6 teams at the FIBA Women's AfroBasket after finishing 8th in Dakar 2 years ago. They finished 5th in Bamako in 2017, and obviously beating Mozambique will be considered as an upset, but Mozambique also have their work cut out. They're desperate to show that it was a one-off, that they lost that game yesterday, but obviously the odds are against Cote d'Ivoire.
They really are, and it would be huge for Cote d'Ivoire to get this win over Mozambique. Huge for the program. Again, this is one of those teams that has a good mix of veteran and youthful experience. A few high fives and just a few moments here before the opening tip-off. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Yaoundé, Cameroon for the classification matchup between Cote d'Ivoire and Mozambique. Mukauro, too strong. And Mozambique pick up their first turnover as Salimata Bert brings the ball up. Jefarima Diawara had a quiet game yesterday. Again, she was definitely playing a stronger opponent, so you can't really blame her.
She's been one of the consistent players for Cote d'Ivoire, scoring double digits in this tournament. 11 against Tunisia, 15 against Mali, 23 against Guinea, and 11 against Nigeria. And you expect that she'll show up today as well against Mozambique.
Kosa gets on the board early, corner three. And she is one of Mozambique's elite shooters, as Diawara can't get that one to drop. Sieza tries to crash the boards. It's picked up by Tamar Seda. Mabjaya kicks it out to Mukauro. Mukauro with the step back three. It's short. Seda right there to clean up the boards and the putback.
That is exactly what Tamara Seda is supposed to do in the paint. Her size gives her the edge, and she's delivering so far.
Sieza at the baseline, can't get that one to drop. Diawara gets it back to Sieza, and they have a new shot clock. Don't think she realized she had space to shoot. Kouyaté, 3 on the clock. It's a mishandle from Bert, and Mozambique will get the ball.
Very slow start there for Cote d'Ivoire. They're yet to get into a good rhythm for this game.
Oh, it was the right idea. They just couldn't execute it. And Guima will throw that one away as Mozambique already headed towards turnover trouble, Usher.
Wiring there in the opening 3 minutes of this game.
Diawara can't get it to fall. Mozambique have certainly missed the presence of their superstar player, Donge, in this tournament, as Mabjaya rattles one in. Make this a 8-point lead for Mozambique at the top of the first.
That is 2 3-pointers for Mozambique, and they're trying to get that groove early on in this game. And Cote d'Ivoire have to play better defense in circumstances like that.
It's a hard drive from Kouyaté. No foul in the melee. And Mukauro trying to get Seda open. Seda fighting for position. And Kouyaté with a steal. Diawara on the other end.
Very good ball movement there from Mozambique.
Seda for the finish, and that was a beautiful setup by Mukauro to find Seda in the low post.
Good eyes from Ingvild Mukauro. She knew that she didn't have a good balance to make it count, and she dished that ball right there for Tamara Seda.
Timeout, Cote d'Ivoire. Let's head to the bench. Listen to what Coach Igor has to say.
Ok. Kani. Numéro 1. Jouez numéro 1. Ok. L'âge. Restez l'âge. 5-0. 5-0. Ok. Pressé. Numéro 9. Pressé numéro 9. Numéro 9. Point guard maintenant. Numéro 9. Point guard. Ok. Allez. Rapide passe. Rapide passe. Pourquoi stress? Zena, pourquoi stress? Et parlez. C'est pas possible. Changement. Allez, go. Changement. Allez, parlez.
Cote d'Ivoire have gone scoreless in the first 4.5 minutes in this first quarter. It's not characteristic of Cote d'Ivoire, who are generally a good shooting team, good scoring team. And they're just going to have to be a bit more hungry after it. Baird to bring the ball up. Diawara at the wing, sees Kani Kouyaté in the low post. She's a guard, but is very comfortable taking it into the paint. Oh, that's a good steal from Tamar Seda. Mozambique, who played Nigeria yesterday, lost 56-72 as Mukaro couldn't find Seda there in the low post. It's good to see her making sure that Seda gets involved. It's easy to lose sight of her in the sea of white jerseys in the paint as Kosa off on that three-point shot. Mukaro tries to save it. Mabjaya straight into the hands of Kouyaté, and here comes Diawara on the other end. Bert, nice kick to Cieza. Cieza just couldn't get a handle on it. And Cote d'Ivoire unable to convert in that possession as well. And you can see Laetitia Sahi getting ready to head onto the floor. Cote d'Ivoire are going to need her scoring abilities to get Cote d'Ivoire on the scoreboard. Kosa to Guimo. Guimo in to Seda. Seda's doing a great job of sealing her defender in the low post.
It's a beautiful thing to see how Tamara Seda and Guimo are partnering up there. And good communication between the forwards.
Kouyaté with the dribble J, it's short. Cieza with the board and the putback.
Good crushing there from Cieza. She'll be pleased with her effort to at least get Cote d'Ivoire going in this game, finally.
It's good, sticky defense from Kani Kouyaté, but she'll still pick up the foul. And I think Cote d'Ivoire is doing a good job on defense and just making sure that Mozambique are not getting into a full rhythm, but they're just not scoring. Laetitia Sahi now into the game. And it'll be interesting to see how she goes head-to-head with Tamar Seda, who is taller and bigger. Kosa, no good. Rebound, Diawara. Get to Laetitia Sahi. Sahi loses it. And here comes Mukaro. It's a one-on-one situation. She decides to try and get it back to Tamar Seda. And we've seen Mukaro actually be a bit more aggressive with those kind of offensive opportunities as Sahi knocks one down on the other end.
You were talking about seeing a good matchup there against Seda, and now she goes one-on-one with Guimo and delivers 2 points for Sahi. The power and precision there. All eyes on the basket. And she made it count. She has been an absolute revelation in this tournament. You know, every time you come to the AfroBasket, you see the usual names: Astou Traoré, Aya Traoré, Mam Marissi of Senegal, and Aisha Mohammed of Nigeria. But now we have these young upcoming stars like Sahi.
Bert on the wing, she decides to take the center drive, gets it to Jawara, fouled on the way up, and she'll go to the charity stripe to shoot 2. Foul has been called on Veloso. Jawara to hit her first free throw, averaging 16 points per game in this tournament, playing domestically in Cote d'Ivoire, but showing the talent of an internationally exposed player. Veloso tries to find Kosa on the cut. It's good recovery defense from the weak side from Kani Kuyate. Seda, she's got 2 on her, manages to find Gimo. Gimo can't finish it. She goes back up, and it's a 3-point opportunity for Gimo.
Good recovery there from Gimo. She initially missed the first attempt, picked her own rebound, and went back up. As a big CLA, you know that move in training.
Mike and drills, Mike and drills, Mike and drills.
There it is.
Gimo unable to convert, and here come Cote d'Ivoire. They're trailing 5 to Mozambique's 14 points. Sahi can't get on the scoreboard. Jawara open for the perimeter shot. Bukauro snatches down the rebound, and here she comes on the other end.
The idea is good to dish that ball, but she has to be a little more careful and effective.
Cote d'Ivoire expecting her to pass the ball to Seda, so now for a couple of possessions, she needs to just be more aggressive with it and take it straight to the basket.
She has options. She can fake the ball or even just give a bounce pass, but it has to be quick, because like you said, Cote d'Ivoire have already understood the move there.
Hana Amani will check into the game for Cote d'Ivoire, and she'll inbound as Kani Kuyate has a seat. Kani Kuyate puts heavy minutes in these Cote d'Ivoire games, Usher, 29 minutes a game. But there's not as much pressure for this one. Sahi misses everything. And Leticia Sahi, with only 2 points so far in this game, has not been able to find her rhythm. 1 second on the shot clock. Jawara tries to let one go. It's a shot clock violation, so Mozambique ball. Kosa on the wing. Moves it around for Gimo. Veloso on the cut and kick. Tamar Seda just couldn't finish it.
And it's a very good rebound there from Jawara. Right possession, and she owned that space.
Leticia Sahi kicks it out to Amani for the 3-point shot. Off the mark. Gimo the rebound to Seda. Bukauro now here on the push. Again, she doesn't go for the finish, gets it to Seda, and they just couldn't convert on that possession. Here comes Les Elephants on the other end. Kuyate with the bounce. Can't get it to drop. That's a good steal from Jiawara. And you get a sense, Usher, that there's been a drop, just a drop of focus here for the Mozambique side.
And that explains why they'll need to make some substitutions there.
As Mukauro picks up a foul, she'll head to the bench. Checking into the game is Mafanela, Kosa, and Chizian. Leticia Sahi gets locked up by the Mozambique defense. Jiawara rebound. And they have to be careful about the shot clock. Another offensive rebound for Jiawara. Leticia Sahi all the way to the basket, and this time she makes it count. So athletic. Strong, strong player. Here comes Chizian on the other end. Veloso trying to shake off Amani. Mafanela now, Chizian, no. It's good hustle from Leticia Sahi to control that rebound.
Being able to beat Mafanela to a rebound is not such an easy feat. Super proud of that effort, Sahi.
Two seconds left here in the first quarter. Bertz can't let one go, and Mozambique will end the first quarter with a 7-point lead against Cote d'Ivoire. It's been a slow start for Cote d'Ivoire, who've just not been able to get into their rhythm. They've not been able to get into the motion offense that they've been known for in this tournament. And I think it's welcome to the big leagues, Cote d'Ivoire. It's going to be a game they're going to have to fight through.
It's interesting you say that. They are 3 for 13 from the field, and that's just not good enough. But when you look at the scoreline, 14-7, it doesn't actually tell you the entire story of this game. Mozambique themselves will take us back to a statement that Walter Costa, the coach of Angola, said yesterday, that the opponents are not playing well, but we're worse off in this case. Mozambique need to do better in terms of efficiency. They're not consistent. If they do something and it works for them, they don't see it through and they don't get the maximum potential there. But obviously they'll be pleased with those 2 3-pointers from Abjai and Annabella Kosa, and hope that they can continue to use the bigs, Tamara Seda and Gimo, who've scored 8 points between themselves.
Leticia Sahi, 4 points for her. But again, it's not so much the individual effort as it is the combined, Usher. And Cote d'Ivoire, who generally do a good job of spacing out the floor and creating the opportunities for, you know, the weak side guard or post player to cut in. They've not been able to do it. And, you know, at this point in the tournament, it comes down to mental strength. Listen, they are tired. Physically, every single player in this tournament is tired. And now you have to rise above what you're feeling and do the things you've been practiced.
I usually call this point of a tournament autopilot. At this point, it's not really that you are strong, but how mentally strong are you there? And looking at that beautiful shot of the Palais de Sport. It's been an incredible 1 week here in Yaoundé.
Mukauro can't get that one to fall. Leticia Sahi fights hard for that rebound, and she's rewarded as Kani Kuyate comes on the other end. Gets it to Amani, finds Jiawara. Sahi will take that three-point shot. She won't make it. And Mabujaya now will slow down the offense. Get a set play going for Mozambique. It's going to be an offensive foul called on Seda. She picks up her first. And take a look at that. Jiawara times it all wrong, misses Amani entirely. Mabujaya chases it down, tries to get it to Mukaro. Mukaro, the hustler of this team, tries to pass it to Chizian, and Kani Kuyate gets a bump. She grabs that steal. Yeah, take a look at that. If that foul hadn't happened, you can bet your life Kani Kuyate would have been off to the races. Fast break on the other end. But it's a unsportsmanlike foul, and Kuyate will shoot two.
It's interesting that Cote d'Ivoire are the third best team on the free throw line in this tournament, having converted 50 attempts. Can you imagine that? They've converted 50 times on the free throw line, and that is the 51st. And Mozambique have to make sure that they avoid them going to the free throw line.
Bert will inbound. And there's going to have to be a correction, Usher. That last free throw was actually given to Mozambique. And it should have been to Cote d'Ivoire. Unless Kani Kuyate is wearing a Mozambique jersey. And my eyesight is way, just completely off. But there's going to be an official review there. It really has been a slow start for both sides in this first half of the game. Usher is calling this stage of tournament autopilot. And this is now really the things you work on leading up to this tournament. Those practice shots that you make, those plays that you do over and over and over again. This is when now your body is just doing things by memory.
Exactly, and when you think about playing a classification game after failing initially to reach your objective, which in this case was to get to the semifinals for both teams, you have to extremely dig deep to be able to deliver at this point. And that explains a slow start to this game, a very low scoring game so far. I mean, look at the second quarter and the scores are 8-14. But that's where the coaches come in, that's where the captains come in, and the leadership.
Bukaro with a dribble, Jay. Couldn't find the angle to get that shot off. Mafanella out to Chizian. Find Bukaro again at the baseline. She almost loses it. Kicks it out to Seda for the perimeter shot. Seda knocks it down. 8 points for Tamara Seda. And she will lead Mozambique in scoring in this game as Cote d'Ivoire continue to trail by 8. Mariam Kouyaté, kiss off the glass, makes it count. Seda took a look at that backdoor cut. Mafanella gets it to Mukaro. Mukaro with a spin, finds Mafanella in the low post. And that is just great two-man play between Mafanella and Mukaro. Mukaro doing a great job of drawing in that defense and then finding the slashing guard or post player on the other end.
Those were the clear instructions before this game. She's been doing all day with Tamara Seda and now with Mafanella. Look at that turnaround. Beautiful. She brought in the Kouyaté sisters and Mafanella rewarded her.
Seda now had Kouyaté on her, recognized the mismatch. She'll head to the line to shoot two.
You know, when you have a mismatch, it's a thin line to define that, because when you look at the replay, Tamara Seda gets the ball, she's trying to feel the opponent behind her, and if her elbow lands on the face of Kouyaté, it's a mismatch, so it's not really her problem, it's really her space there to try and control the movement there, and it will happen a lot in this game.
Barrett to Kouyaté. Back out to Kouyaté for the three-point shot. It's good. Nothing but net for Kani Kouyaté.
Clean and smooth. And Cote d'Ivoire are crumbling back into this game. It's a 6-point game. And they'll be proud of that effort.
You can also see the shift in energy as they go to a 2-3 zone. And a lot of teams think that zone is the go-to defense when you have a rest, when you want to have a rest. But that's not always the case. If you have a very active zone, it can really look like man-to-man defense and be very, very effective.
And that also depends on if the opponents are swinging that ball or are they trying to drive to the hoop. And in this case, Mozambique can do anything. They can shoot the ball, they can drive. And they have a good jumper shooters as well. Tamara Seda being one of them.
Kalimata Bear doing a good job of containing Mukaro. Mabjaya now to go up against Amani's kick out to Chizian for the three. Seda with the rebound. And Mozambique unable to convert. Here comes Kouyaté and Cote d'Ivoire as their motion offense starting to flow a bit more fluidly. Bert. Look at the pass around the perimeter to find.
That's great teamwork from Cote d'Ivoire. It's a 4-point game. Sahi with 6 points.
Cote d'Ivoire on a run. And there's going to be another foul on Kani Kouyaté. That's her second. Coach Nasir Saleh calls a timeout to disrupt the momentum that Cote d'Ivoire have been able to build here the bottom of the second quarter. Let's head to the bench to hear what Coach Saleh has to say.
Pontos fáceis de baixa tabela, que não haja penetração e acima de tudo também contestar os tiros abertos. Atenção, que nós estamos a libertar. O 14 vai jogar como posto alto E sempre que há mudança do lado da bola, faz pop-out. Aqui temos que contestar, porque ela vai tentar. E na zona 22, já sofremos 2 triplos. Atenção, vamos alterar a zona, tá? Põe Guivilda aqui atrás. Pulso como primeiro homem, tá? Stefânia e Odélia para o meio, tá? 21, tá? 21. Maior agressividade dentro e a seguir saltamos no homem-homem. Ok, malta? Vamos lá, malta. Bora.
Coach Nasir Saleh talking about defensive adjustments, and that's something that Mozambique does have to work on, as Cote d'Ivoire managed to shake off the cobwebs with just about 5 minutes played here in the second quarter. They're getting into that fluid motion offense, working the ball around and creating space in the paint for anyone really to drive. It's a great 4-out, 1-in offense. Manfanella to Seda in the mid post. Seda can't make that one happen. Manfanella with the boards. Gets it to Mukauro. 5 on the shot clock. Chiziane is aware. She is blocked by Leticia Sahi. Oh, and Seda lets it go right before the buzzer.
Very impressive there from Tamara Seda, who has already scored 12 points in this game. And her size is paying off for Mozambique.
Amani with a runner, manages to drop it in.
And that keeps Cote d'Ivoire alive in this game. You score, we score, you score, we score. As they continue to play good defense.
Tamar Seda picks up her first foul in this game. She's managed to keep the fouling at bay. She struggled a bit in this tournament. Former student at the University of El Paso, Texas. Bert kicks it out to Kayate for the three-point shot. No. Mabjaya on the drive. Kicks it out to Chiziane for the three-point shot. Count it. And that's gonna be 3 points for Chiziane, her first 3 in this game. And she has had a very, very quiet start. She's been averaging 9 points per game and leading Mozambique in scoring, as Kuyate with the response on the other end. Teams trading baskets, and it's no way for Mozambique to even out this score. Seda with a dribble J, too strong. Yada to Leticia Sahi, almost loses it. She's got 3 jerseys on her, still manages to get it up and over the arms of Seda. And Cote d'Ivoire now just 3 points away from Mozambique, who had the biggest lead of 12 points in this half. Mukauro from downtown. Ingvlid Mukauro, 6 points for her.
She's been doing so much work on defense and finally getting her presence felt on offense.
Mariama Kuyate felt that shot, couldn't get it to drop. Ball stolen back to Imani. Finds Kani Kuyate, back to Imani. And Mafanella will pick up another foul. Excuse me, that was Bert on the cut. Hana Amani and Salimata Bert have almost the exact same hairstyle.
Well, it seems that they had a conversation before the tournament started
Salimata Bert.
and decided to confuse the enemies as they were 5 and 15.
Well, they confused me. Cavani now is checked back in the game for Mozambique as an offensive foul has been called on Tamar Seda. She did so well in the first quarter, now picks up her second. And she gives her teammates the thumbs up, lets them know not to worry, that she's going to try and control that situation. Jawara at the baseline, mishandle, and Kosa will now bring the ball up. That's been good defense from Salimata Bert. Kovane just gets it out to Mukaro, and Jawara thought she was able to slide, but they caught the hip of Mukaro, so she'll pick up her second foul. And they try to close things out and have that wall, make sure that she doesn't split them. But we saw that she tripped on her foot. Those are frustrating fouls, Asha.
They're very frustrating because you think you did the right thing and yet you're so far away from it.
Chizian heating up. Stefania Chizian. It's going to be 6 points for her. Great, great three-point shooter. Can't give her that much space beyond the arc.
And you can see the reaction there from Coach Igor, frustrated. As on the other end, Mozambique will be disappointed with the defensive play there.
Cote d'Ivoire now in the bonus. 49 seconds to go here. First half. Mariam Kouyate's sister to Kani Kouyaté. We've seen several sister-sister duos in this tournament. One of the pairs in Les Éléphants of Cote d'Ivoire. Kosa now trying to create some space. It's a good move from her, and she tried to get Kovane on the cut. And when there's situations where the point guard keeps the ball in their hands for too long, it doesn't really end very well. As we've seen, Leticia Sahi off the glass. Sahi just doing Sahi things. 10 points already in this first half, shooting 72% from the field. It's going to be Mozambique ball. Nine seconds to go here. Mukaro, nice find to Guimo for the finish. And she has been the assists queen in this first half for Mozambique, and that will do it. 7-point lead maintained by Mozambique, 33 to Cote d'Ivoire's 26 points. Mukaro has been making sure her teammates are involved. She's been a very unselfish player in this first half. We've seen her attack and kick several times before, and Coach Igor is frustrated. But you know what? He has a nice halftime to figure things out for Cote d'Ivoire. That's the scoreline on your screens. Mozambique 33, Cote d'Ivoire 26.
Impressive when you look at the statistics. Mozambique 8 for 15 from the field, 5 for 12. Impressive behind the arc, 42% there, and that has been most of the difference. 24 rebounds for Mozambique, 8 assists and Ingvild Mukaro has had so much to do with that, and 9 steals for Cote d'Ivoire. That has kept them alive. 10 points for Sahi off the bench, 12 for Seder Shizian off the bench with 6, Gimo with 4, and it's been an interesting game so far. Low scoring, obviously, but there's so much to play for.
Indeed there is. We'll be right back after a brief break.
Cote d'Ivoire 26, Mozambique 33.
Slices through the defense, can't finish it. Look at the block from Cieza. Cieza has been the defensive player of this game for me, Usher. As Nigeria extend, is a buzzer beater. And Konate showing no excitement for that shot, but her teammates certainly like it. To get up. Seda gets Yassine in the air, blocked away by Jara, who picks up her 3rd block from this game. Block city for her.
Maimuna Diarra, 6 feet 6 inches. Wow.
Asira Traore back in this game. Nice find for Geneva Jai on the cut and the finish. Yassine Diop picks the pocket of Pereira. Great patience to finish off that play. And Coach Mustafa Guy is pleased. You can see she has those quick hands.
That was a very brilliant play for Yassine Diop.
We have walked this land for a long time. We know how far we've gone, and we're sure of how far we can go. Unity is not just a word here. It's not just a spirit in this sport. It's the way we all move. We are proud of our art, country, family, language, and culture. We are united by basketball.
Welcome to FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2022.
Good morning. If you're just joining us, it is a matchup between Mozambique and Cote d'Ivoire, the classification games. As first of a doubleheader, Seda is leading for Mozambique with 12 points and 8 rebounds, but she has 2 fouls, so she's going to have to be careful considering she's the leading in efficiency for Mozambique. Mukauro 4 assists, and she has been excellent in making sure she's getting everyone involved on the Mozambique side.
Well, obviously talking about Ingvild Mukauro, 4 assists so far in this game. So many other attempts to help her teammates score have gone to waste, but that is great vision there, and Cote d'Ivoire will be trying to stop her in the paint. She has good size on her, she's very swift on her feet, and she's one of the most dangerous players for Mozambique in this game.
The second leading scorer for Mozambique is Stefania Chizian, but taking a look at some of the game leaders for Cote d'Ivoire, Leticia Sahi, 10 points, Diawara, 6 rebounds, and Amani, 1 assist. And Cote d'Ivoire, who have struggled on the offensive end, it's been a low-scoring quarter for them, but especially from their starting five.
Well, obviously, just look at that. How can their game leader in assists have just 1 assist? That is not good enough for Cote d'Ivoire if they want to defeat Mozambique. And looking at Kuyate Mariam, speaking to Leticia Sahi and giving her that wisdom from her experience over the years. Obviously, Leticia playing at her first AfroBasket and saying, look at Mozambique, they have the bigger players on the court right now. How can we stop them? And obviously for Leticia, she has to dig deep into her basketball knowledge. She knows she's quicker and faster than Gimo and Seda, and she has to use that to her advantage. She has to play to that and not really to the gallery.
You know, we had a conversation with Leticia, and she's still a student, and despite putting some of the biggest numbers in this tournament, it's not gotten to her head. She doesn't have, it's like she's not aware that she's this amazing walking talent and is going up against the best on the continent and still putting up amazing numbers. And I think it's just a testament to where her focus is. She's not about her own personal glory. She's about enjoying the game and making sure Cote d'Ivoire does the best that they can do in this tournament.
And looking at this tournament in general, the standout rising players obviously are Sahi and Ewodo of Cameroon. You see them keeping their heads down. Yes, they've done well, and the coaches have maintained the starting five where they don't belong, where they've not been put, but they stay focused, come off the bench and try to deliver, and that is something that has been outstanding to experience here in this tournament, watching Leticia Sahi, and you can best believe that she will be a superstar going forward. And who knows, you could see her in the next 4 or 5 AfroBaskets and growing to one of those legendary names that we've seen on the African continent.
Usher, do you get the sense that this is the first game that Mozambique is actually truly enjoying?
That's right. Mozambique are enjoying this one because when you look at the style that they played against Kenya, it was very aggressive. But here they're a little bit more relaxed. They have an opportunity to run those plays and get a feel of what it's like to play against a team that they are much bigger than. Because in Kenya, you had Vilma and Masi Wanyama, but here Mariam Kuyate is very short as compared to Seda and Gimo, and that gives them an edge in that regard. I mean, if you're talking about a player like Mariam Kuyate, who is 5'11". 5'11" is really short if you're coming up against a player like Tamara Seda and Gimo, who are very towering and stand at 6'3" and 6'4".
Cote d'Ivoire will look at making the necessary adjustments coming into the second half here. Mozambique, who had their biggest lead at 12 points in the first quarter, Cote d'Ivoire managed to cut that lead to 7. Let's see what adjustments they'll make. Gimo floats one into Seda. Should have been a more direct pass. They're going to call a jump ball. And you see Gimo talking to Seda, but I think Gimo should not have passed that ball into the post. Sometimes you just set your post player up for turnovers. Leticia Sahi, spin move, basket good. And she's been hit in a bit of pain. And take a look at that replay. She didn't look like she was bumped. Maybe she just twisted wrong, but she stands up and keeps going. It's good to see that she's okay.
As she follows exactly what Mariam Kuyate was telling her before the second half started.
Gimo to Seda. Seda the handoff to Mabjaya. Mabjaya has space, draws in the defense for the kick for Mukaro. Mukaro can't get it to go. Sahi. The handoff to Kuyate. Kuyate, the pump fake, kicks it back out to Laetitia Sahi, who floats one up. Good hustle from Cote d'Ivoire to keep the game alive.
Well, obviously, looking at the stat of this third quarter, you see that Cote d'Ivoire have improved their focus and know that this is a game that they can win. They just need to take it one possession at a time as they try to go through all their plays.
Mukaro now on the open lane. She's fouled by Salimata Bert. Earns a trip to the line. As we see the physicality in this game just go small notch higher.
She looked like she's been struggling with that left shoulder. Every time she goes to the bench, the physio puts some ice there. But she's playing through the pain. It is a character of a senior player and a player who's very hungry for success.
Knocks the second one down as well, and Mozambique now 35 points for them. Extended this to a slight 8-point lead, just about a minute and a half played here in the third quarter. Jiawara faces Seda, tries to throw one up, and they'll say Cieza stepped on the line. And I think Jiawara could have made a better decision in that play. You can see that Mozambique are collapsing on the defensive end. She can borrow a lead from Mukaro, who has done a great job of driving and kicking. And I think that's something that would work for her as well. Mabjaya to Kosa. Makosa gets Sahi in the air, and now Gimo for the three. Way off.
The pass was just not good enough from Ingvild Mukaro. It was too low, and by the time she got up, the effort wasn't enough to drown it.
Jiawara sets up her shot. She has struggled to score in this game. Mabjaya on the other end can't get it to go either, as Laetitia Sahi brings the ball up. Barrett down the lane, no good. Another mishandle, and the ball goes out of bounds, and you can see both of these teams really struggle to just get into a groove here at the top of the second quarter. Laetitia Sahi is going to be fouled by Gimo. That's a good aggressive attack from her. She'll go to the line to shoot one. And she is so fast with that first step. If you're defending Sahi, would you prefer to let her take that shot or give her space and force her to drive?
Well, you give her space and force her to drive. Just make it as more difficult for her to score, because if you attempt to block her, then you end up fouling because she has long hands, and that's just not good enough. And that's exactly what happened there with Tamara Seder, as she heads to the bench with 3 fouls.
Cieza can't get the first free throw to drop. Cote d'Ivoire have been shooting 57% from the line today. Bukaro to bring the ball up. Mafanella gets Sahi in the air.
That was a very good fake there from Mafanella, and that's more like the Mafanella we know. Good energy. She was just a little bit short off the mark.
Cote d'Ivoire managed to cut that 7-point lead to 5. And Mafanella misses her first free throw. She's going to have to do better from the line. Opportunities for Mozambique to extend the lead. She misses both. Mukauro manages to keep it alive for Mozambique. It's an inbound to Guimo. Guimo to Mafanella. Mafanella with a 3-point opportunity and the chance to redeem herself from the free throw line. It's going to be Cote d'Ivoire's 3rd team foul. Mafanella still unable to convert on that free throw. She's 0 for 3. Baird at the wing. And off target, trying to get the pass into Kani Kuyati. That was good defensive pressure from Mukauro. For Salimata Baird to make a sloppy decision. Guimo gets it to Mabjaya. Jaya floats a pass into the post for Mafanella. That's a good move from Mafanella. Will she be rewarded? No. Leticia Sahi down the lane. Single coverage. Gets it to Salimata Baird. Baird can finish it out. And those are the opportunities we've been talking about that both sides need to convert on. The easy baskets are not the ones that you need to miss. Salimata Baird was wide open for that lay-in. And now it's a jump ball, and the ball goes back to Mozambique.
Very good effort there from Mafanella. She's always one to use any chance to get into a conversation of a jump ball, her and Ingvild, and they've done that in this game and in this tournament so far.
Bukaro wide open from the 3, no. Leticia Sahi, she has been so great with that drive.
That is exactly what we were talking about at the halftime break. She needs to do that. She's quick on her feet. She can just get the ball and drive into the paint. Most of the time, she'll either score or go to the charity line.
Speaking of going to the charity line, Mafanella, another chance to knock down some free throws. It's going to be her 3rd chance in the last 2 minutes. She hasn't been able to convert in any. And the game could really change for Mozambique and for her if she knocks down those free throws that we see. Leticia Sahi, they've not been able to slow her down. Already 16 points in this game against Mozambique. We're going to have a timeout on the floor. Mozambique got to figure some things out. Let's listen in on what Coach Saleh has to say.
Aguenta no 11 que ela vai ter vantagem. Os arranques é tudo com finta cruzado para o lado direito. Aguenta com ela num contra um. Peito na bola, tá? A primeira ajuda a vir. E do lado contrário, entramos em rotação defensiva. Ela está a fazer o jogo dela, tá? Com 16 pontos já. Não tem que haver permissão que ela jogue dentro. Mas antes disso, cortar a linha de passe para que ela não receba com facilidade. Ok? Vamos lá. Após o tiro, 31, tá? 31. Após o lance livre. Ok? Vamos lá. 31.
Mozambique, who only have Tamar Seda in double-digit scoring. The next top scorer is Stefania Chizian, who's also not on this floor. Mafanella has had very good looks at the hoop. 4 points in this game, and she's not been able to convert in the previous opportunities she's had at the free throw line. She'd be looking to change that tempo here. No. She's very disappointed and frustrated at herself, Usher.
You can clearly see that in her eyes.
Sometimes it just takes a bit more of intentional focus. Mafanella gets her first free throw in the game. Kani Kuyate once again getting tangled up with Mafanella on the floor. We've seen these two players dive at least 5 times on the floor today.
Told you there's a record in this tournament of the falls. But it really just shows the hunger that both players have, and they want and are desperate to help their teams to victory.
.445 to go here in the third. Cote d'Ivoire have just not been able to crack this lead throughout the entire game. Mariam Kuyate with the kick. And we've seen situations where any team that gets a big run in the first quarter generally carries that momentum throughout the game. It was 12-0 in the first half of the first quarter, Usher.
That's right.
Kosa. Loses the ball. Leticia Sahi will bring it up. Draws in Mukauro, kicks it out to Giawara for the three. Giawara, who's had a soft start and has not been able to get heated up in this game. But look at that play right there. Mafanella to find Mabjaya wide open on the cut.
You talk about Diarra, but her strength is not really in shooting threes. She's only managed 3 in this tournament out of 22 previous attempts. She's only been able to dominate the field.
And once again, Mafanella on the floor. And it's really a testament to the desire that she has in this game. A nice feed into a cutting Mabjaya. Three on the shot clock. There's going to be an offensive foul called on Giawara.
And that is 3 fouls for Giawara. Who looks absolutely frustrated.
Back in the game for Cote d'Ivoire is Hana Amani. Another offensive foul on the other end of the floor there. See Guimo having a conversation with the referee. She wasn't happy with that call. Doesn't change the decision by the referee. Gimo will head to the bench to cool off as Tamar Seda is back in the game. We had talked about Mozambique making sure they don't get in foul trouble. Amani throws one up. Huge board for Jiawara. Gets it out to Leticia Sahi. Sahi knocks it down from beyond the arc.
Leticia Sahi with 19 points in this game.
And look at the play between Mukaro and Mafanella. That chemistry has allowed them to really operate well in the high-low with a drive and dish. And that's a thing of beauty.
They played together for Ferroviario de Maputo, so they spent so much time with each other throughout the year, played together for over 7 years. And that sisterhood is paying off now.
The chemistry is clear. Seda, nice shot fake. She's fouled on the way to the hoop. And Leticia Sahi is slow to get up. Looks like she got a knock in the face. As we see that two-man play between Mafanella and Mukaro. The majority of Mozambique's players play in the same team in Mozambique, and it's one of the few teams in the tournament who have majority of their players playing domestically.
It helps always with the chemistry as we look at the recovery there. For a player like Sahi playing in the position that she does, you always expect those hits in the paint, and it is part of the game. Looking at that,
I think she caught an elbow right in the nose. Yep, she sure did. I don't think there was any foul play in that movement. But Leticia Sahi, who has been leading Cote d'Ivoire in scoring, 19 points for her. And it's so unfortunate, Usher, because just when we start to see Sahi really get fired up, she's either fouling out or you can see this unfortunate injury. And I feel like we've not yet seen her full potential. I think she's one of those players who can get to even 30 points in a game.
yes, obviously, but you have to remember this is her first AfroBasket appearance. She is learning the territory, and by the time she returns for her second outing, she'll know what to expect. She'll know how to deal with several situations in a game and just get better at delivering.
Pereira wide open at the three, can't get it to drop. New shot clock for Mozambique. Mukaro tries to take it all the way, and Cieza taps it out of bounds. It hits Mukaro before she can recover. So take a look at the replay. She hits it right into Mukaro, who is still recovering from out of bounds. So the ball will stay with Les Elephants. Amani, Kuyate help each other to get the ball across the half court. Kuyate almost getting trapped in that defense. It's a swing out to find Kani Kuyate. She's off. gets her own rebound, and she really is just all over the floor. Gets another rebound. Kicks it out. It's a sister. Mariam Kouyaté way off on that three-point shot. As Kani Kouyaté has been doing the most on both ends of the floor for Cote d'Ivoire. She's just a fireball for the Cote d'Ivoire side, both on the offensive and defensive end.
Every team needs that player who steps up and is a leader. It's not just that you have captain alongside your name on the stat sheet, but that in circumstances where your team needs you, you step up and you deliver. And that is what Kani Kouyaté is doing today.
There's an unsportsmanlike foul called, and they'll head to the table to make sure they have the right call. Couldn't quite get a clear angle from there. We'll leave the referees to make a decision based on the different angles of this shot. And as Usher has mentioned several times before, it's great to be in an age of technology when you have the luxury to get the different angles of these kind of plays. Gone are the days of guesswork.
That's right. And that is what the improvement to also have a third referee helps on the court. If you remember about 15 years ago where you just have two umpires, and that was not just good enough, and FIBA introduced the three referees, as we see Sahi trying to recover on the bench.
I'm sure she's so heartbroken that she can't be on this floor with her team. But like we said, experience is the best teacher, and she will learn from this tournament, her presence in this tournament, regardless of whether she ends up getting back on this floor or not. Kani Kouyaté hits the first free throw, gets the second to go as well. Puts Cote d'Ivoire at 37 points. 6-point lead for Mozambique. Mafanella. She's fouled again in that low post. And they'll call the foul on Cieza. Mafanella back to her scoring ways from the free throw line. That's good to see. Two clutch free throws, Mafanella. Just under a minute to play here in the third quarter. Mozambique put on the heat with that full court defense, and they're rewarded with the steal. Mabjaya gets it to Mukaro. Mukaro, kick out to Seda. Seda to Pereira. Tries to get it back to Seda. And they had the right idea. Just couldn't finish it out.
Mozambique now going for that press. They'll try to put pressure on Mozambique. And it worked. As Coach Igor goes nuts on the touchline.
15 seconds to go. Mozambique with just enough time to make something out of this possession. Mabjaya gets it into Mafanela. Kick out to Pereira for the three-point shot. Boards picked up by Mariam Kuyate. And Amani didn't have a look at the game clock, but that will take us to the end of the third quarter. Mozambique have managed to maintain a 7 to 8 point lead since the second quarter, and Cote d'Ivoire's offensive struggles have continued despite an excellent performance from Leticia Sahi, 19 points before getting bumped and knocked out of the game. Usher, take us through some of the stats.
Well, looking at Mozambique, 5 for 18 behind the arc and 11 for 20 in the field. Very decent, if you must say, for a team that looks very tired, but digging in deep from that autopilot mode. Leticia Sahi and Cote d'Ivoire have their work cut out. She has been incredible, scoring 19 of Cote d'Ivoire's 37. Wow, the rest of the teammates have to up their game and try to close out this game and see if they can make a comeback. Still a close game, it's still possible. Just an 8-point game, Silale.
Just an 8-point game, but really it's going to come down to the individual decision of the Ivoirian players. We saw that Leticia Sahi had to create a lot of the shots that she made, whether it's just having the confidence to take that three-point shot or driving from the arc straight to the basket. Mozambique doing a much better job with the ball distribution, swinging it around and creating opportunities for each other, and they'll be surely continuing that into this fourth quarter. Let's head to the bench and listen in on what Coach Saleh has to say.
Defense.
And we just missed it, but I imagine that Cote d'Ivoire will be looking for their next best scorer as Leticia Sahi continues to stay on the bench. But you know, the great thing about being youthful, Usher, is that no blood, no broken bones, you're going back in that floor. And you can see that the desire is still there in Sahi's eyes. We're not quite sure what the injury is, but I do wonder if it's not too serious for her to come back into the game. Mafanela almost getting locked up on the sideline there. Mukauro gets it to Mabjaya. Pereira now wide open from the three. Short. And Amali will bring the ball down for Cote d'Ivoire. Jawar looking for that backdoor cut. No. Mozambique defense doing a fantastic job of clogging up the paint. Mafanela rewarded for her efforts with another steal. It's a long pass to Mukauro. She's alone with Cieza. Oh, they try to get it to Seda, and Mariama Kuyate wide open and misses. She has a chance to redeem herself. She can't. And what in the world is going on with Mariama Kuyate?
That is a lack of concentration there from Mariam Kuyate. She should have done better the first time and the second time and the third time. Look at that miss. She had acres of space and her eyes on the board. And Coach Igor cannot believe his eyes.
He's incredulous.
We are adding him to the death stare list of coaches in this tournament.
Well, any coach would give a death stare to a performance like that, and Mariam Kuyate is just gonna have to do better. She gets one of her free throws, and Mabjaya to bring the ball up for Mozambique. Three-pointer from Mukaro. She knocks it in.
And that is 8 points for Ingvild Mukauro.
Cieza, the offensive boards, the swing around the perimeter. Salimata Bert sees the lane, takes it, no, kicks it out to Cieza. Cieza had Amani wide open at the wing, tried to force that shot. And again, we have to question the decision-making of Cote d'Ivoire in this game.
It looks like self-inflicted pain from Cote d'Ivoire.
Substitution for Cote d'Ivoire, Kani Kouyaté and Laetitia Sahi. Good to see her back on this floor. And she's going to have a quick three-point shot. We've talked about decision-making. And Laetitia Sahi was just too hungry to get back in it. Coach Igor gets a warning. The substitution into the game is Kosa for Mabjaya. Kouyaté not with a lot of options. Gets it to Bert on the baseline. Bert, nothing but net. And Salimata Bert, could she be heating up? It's her first field goal of this game as Kovane gets it to Kosa on the other end of the floor. Long pass to Pereira. Seda now in the low post. She's got two on her. Good defense from Kani Kouyaté to get the deflection and make sure that Mozambique have that shot clock violation.
She's been putting in the work today, Kani Kouyaté. Good hands.
And we have seen a lot of bumps and bruises in this game as Kouyaté and Kosa knocked heads. You can see Kosa heading back to the bench and Mabjaya checking into the game. Kouyaté is like a rock. I would never want to headbutt her.
Would you want to headbutt me?
That I can do. That
Wow.
I can do.
Do I look like a jock to you right now? Kani Kouyaté involved in yet another fall or hassle for the ball, as you'd call it.
She just never stops. Never stops. Like you said, you need one of those players in every single team. For Mozambique, it's Mukauro. For Cote d'Ivoire, it's Kani Kouyaté. As Mariam tries to create space for that shot. It's a touch pass to Laetitia Sahi. Great shot fake. She'll go all the way to the basket. Huge rebound from Salimata Bert. And she finds Sahi on the wing. No. Good offensive possession for Cote d'Ivoire. Pereira to Kovane. Kovane with space to shoot. She does. Can't get it to drop, but the ball will stay with Mozambique. Pereira has the confidence to take that three-point shot. It's boards chased down by Mukauro. Kovane now kicks it out to Mukauro for the three. No. Kani Kouyaté crashing the boards. Just doing Kani Kouyaté things as Bert brings it up. Mariam way off, and she has struggled on the shooting end the finishing end of this game. Cote d'Ivoire's Amani.
She's laughing at that.
I think she was laughing at the idea of her going up against Tamar Seda. She used all of her body weight, Usher, to get that ball to the floor. Seda is such a strong player.
You have Tamara Setter at 6'4" and Amani at 5'5". So obviously that justifies her laughter there.
Bert takes it in, pulls it back out. Leticia Sahi, nice spin move to find Cieza for the finish.
And we have a game on our hands, a 5-point game to be very exact. That was a good assist there from Sahi.
Nice deflection once again from Kani Kuyate.
I mean, who else? Who else if not Kani Kuyate
She's
today?
been so active. As Salimata Baird with the crucial three.
2-point game.
And they're going to call the foul on Baird. She hits the three on the other end, picks up a foul on this one, but that was a huge 3-point shot for Cote d'Ivoire, and now they're just 2 points away from Mozambique. It's the smallest points differential we've seen in this game so far between Cote d'Ivoire and Mozambique. Timeout on the floor, and some adjustments are going to have to be made. Mozambique's Saleh, let's hear what he has to say.
Bolas divididas, mesma coisa. Não basta termos a bola cá em cima, eles vão saltar com a bola, vão perturbar, vão agarrar os braços, atenção. Estamos a 2 pontos. Paciência, acreditar, tá? Acreditar, atenção número 11, tá? Tu fica com a 15, a gente fica com a 11, tá bem? Vamos lá. Atacamos 54. Posse de bola nossa agora, vamos lá.
Looking at the statistics in this game, Mozambique have only scored 3 points in 5 minutes of playing time. That is just not good enough for Mozambique.
It really isn't. It really isn't. And after, taking that 14-7 lead at the end of the first quarter, Cote d'Ivoire were able to tie up the points in the second. And bit by bit, Cote d'Ivoire are chipping away at this lead. They've managed to cut this to a 2-point game with just about 5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Mukaro, yes! Ingrid Mukaro hits from deep. Talking about clutch threes, that was a big one for Mozambique. 8 points for Mukaro. Cieza rolls it in. And Leticia Sahi, not only is she scoring, she is creating for her teammates as well, Usher.
Exactly. When you are a top player like Sahi and you notice that every time you get the ball, the defense will come to you, then you can dish. And that is very smart play from the 21-year-old, and Coach Igor is loving it.
Cieza to make it a 3-point play and make this back to a 2-point game. Kani Kuyate manages to close out the steal. Cieza now, she's gonna try and finish it. No. Seda recovery defense, and Baird couldn't convert on that 3-point shot. Another save from Cieza. Amani, this could be something. Yes, it is! Yes, it is! Hannah Amani shoots the triple and gives Cote d'Ivoire a lead in this game.
It is a 1-point game, and Cote d'Ivoire steal the ball.
Kani Kuyate just doing it all for Cote d'Ivoire. The intangibles and the tangibles. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Leticia Sahi Ball slapped away by Mafanella.
It's crunch time, 3 minutes, 47 seconds to play. And Mozambique have 14 fouls in this quarter. They have to be careful.
Kani Kuyate out to Cieza. Amani is blocked by Chizian. Chizian gets the steal as well. It's a good defensive play from her. Chizian loses it on her way to the basket. Leticia Sahi now 2-on-2. Kicks it out to Amani. Amani with the shot fake at the baseline shot. Cieza does her best to crash the boards. And the ball will stay with Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire bench getting fired up about what is happening in the floor for Les Elephants. Amani gets it to Bert. Bert, kick out to Cieza. Cieza with the dribble J, she's blocked. Mafanella, who was very active before Mozambique. Her presence on this court is going to be big for the Southern African team. Seda loses the ball. And that's going to be a costly turnover for Mozambique. Kani Kuyate, drive and kick to Salimata Baird. Salimata Baird, 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. And the momentum has shifted, ladies and gentlemen. Les Elephants have come alive, and so has this gymnasium. Cote d'Ivoire 55, Mozambique 51 points. And Cote d'Ivoire want it.
They always say that it's not how you start the game, but how you finish, as Cote d'Ivoire enjoy a 4-point lead. And let's listen in to that Mozambique timeout.
O 4 que repôs a bola vai cortar para aqui. Temos um extremo deste lado. Temos outro deste lado. Quando a bola vai entrar, atenção à divisão da bola. Este vai saltar para a bola. Bola cá dentro. Não viemos pela linha. É o que eles querem. Atenção aos traps. Eu vou passar a bola, vou enquadrar dentro. Mudar a bola dentro. Tá? Sem pânico. Estão a 3 pontos. Estão a 3 pontos. Atenção. Atacar com o ônibus agora até o fim, ok? Vamos lá, malta. Temos que atirar de fora, tá? Atenção aos tiros.
Do Mozambique still have the fire? Cote d'Ivoire certainly do. Salimata Bert, 9 points for her, all coming from beyond the arc. Leticia Sahi has not scored in this quarter yet, but she has been dishing out those assists.
She's been impressive and playing as a team player, and that is what matters to Cote d'Ivoire as they seek to upset Mozambique today.
Chizian on the drive. Another steal for Bert. And you know what they say, Usher, offense wins games, defense wins championships. And even though Cote d'Ivoire don't have a chance to win a championship, I think it's the defense that has unlocked the offense for them in this game.
You have to give it up for Kani Kuyate, who's been incredible in this game. Obviously, the whole team has played good defense, but Kani Kuyate has been the standout player for Cote d'Ivoire and led this charge right now in the last quarter.
Ball thrown away, and now it's 3-1. Kani Kuyate misses that opportunity to score.
There's poor decision making there. She could have done better and perhaps even waited and run down the clock.
Mafanella, important rebound for her. She'll head to the line to shoot 2. Salimata Bert and Kuyate trying to make it hard for Mafanella to score. It's going to be another foul as Cote d'Ivoire pick up their third team foul. Substitution for Cote d'Ivoire. Diawara is now back in the game. Cieza, she thought she was being trailed. There was no one with her. And Cote d'Ivoire have to minimize these mistakes. They're giving Mozambique more opportunities to take back the lead. Mukaro kicks it out to Mabjaya. Kosa back to Mabjaya. Mabjaya gets the way, all the way to the hoop. And we have a game here, ladies and gentlemen, 55 apiece. 56 seconds left to go before the end of this game. And it's gonna come down to who can execute better and who wants it more.
We call this back home malaria time.
Leticia Sahi. She throws one out. They're gonna call the travel on her.
The Mozambican players have been in this scenario before, but at club side, as Ferroviaro played against Interclub in the 2019 FIBA Women's Club Championship. Players like Mafanela and Mukauro. And let's see if that experience will count today.
Kimo gets Mozambique the lead. And that's what we want to see from Mozambique, moving the ball well on transition. You keep on passing the ball, you will find the right opportunity to score as a foul is called on Mabjaya. And Mozambique are almost over the limit. As a matter of fact, and Mabjaya picks up her fourth foul as Diawara, arguably the most important points she'll have to score in this game. As you can see, prayers being sent up from the Cote d'Ivoire bench. Diawara hits them when it counts, Usher.
And we have a game on with 10 seconds to play.
Could this be our first overtime? Foul on the floor. And with 4 seconds to go, 57 apiece. It's enough time for either side to close this one out. Mukaro at the baseline, she throws a wild one up, oh my goodness! Ingvild Mukaro!
I said it before, Ingvild Mukaro has been in scenarios like this before. And in 2019, she helped Ferroviaro de Maputo beat Interclub of Angola, and that game ended 91-90. She knows how to deliver at the biggest stage in crunch moments. And that is exactly what she just did. Pressure on the ball. She just threw the ball and boom. Basket. Mozambique 59, Côte d'Ivoire 57.
Regardez la situation. Jefa, joue comme ça. Joue comme ça. Fanny. Ici. Shoot. Shoot. C'est dernière seconde. Dernière seconde. Vous avez compris. Avec contact, feinte et shoot pour 3 points. Et feinte et shoot pour 3.
Coming out of that timeout, you can hear Coach Igor. He wants Cote d'Ivoire to go for the three-point shot. And really, that was such a tough shot. Cote d'Ivoire did everything they could to stop Mukaro from hitting it. But she doesn't shy away from the big moments. The vet gives Mozambique a 2-point lead with 1 second to go here in this game.
And you can imagine the celebrations back home as we have 1.7 seconds on the clock.
Leticia Sahi is going to shoot a 3-point shot. She can't get it to drop, and that will do it for Cote d'Ivoire. You can see the smile on Tamara Seyda's face. What a fight from Les Elephants. They executed exactly what Coach Igor drew up, so you have to give them credit there. But the true credit in this game goes to Mukauro, who was in it to win it from the get-go, Usher. We saw her getting involved. We saw her with the assist. She was leading the team in assists and then went on to shoot the clutch field goal for Mozambique to win it.
And looking at the statistics, Mozambique 14 for 24 in the field, 7 for 24 behind the arc. And what an incredible performance. Mozambique with 41 rebounds, 1 less than Cote d'Ivoire, 15 assists, and wow, 19 steals for Cote d'Ivoire. Even though we've known Mukauro to have the record of the steals in the tournament, you have 13 points, and those will be the most important for her, and 13 for Tamara Seda. She was massive today, and Mozambique walk away with victory and have a chance to play for the 5th position in this tournament.
Wow, what an end to a game that saw Cote d'Ivoire really build momentum, and really in thanks to the player on your screens right there, Leticia Sahi. She ended with 19 points at the end of the 3rd quarter, got a hit in the face and had to sit out for several minutes, came back in the 4th and continued to deliver, not necessarily on the scoring end, but she was making sure to get her teammates involved. And I admire the fight that she's put in display here today, Usher. Mozambique had that red-hot start, took a 12-0 run, create a very nice lead, and we've talked about it time and time again. The team that gets that significant lead in the 1st quarter, time and time again, has finished at the end of the day.
Well, obviously, Mozambique will be pleased with that victory, and experience has come to help them in this tournament, and that obviously we have to remember the name Leticia Sahi. Incredible player, 21 years old, and she's scored 82 points so far in this game, and that has been the standout statistic from the Ivorian bench, and you have to give it up to her and the coach Igor for trusting her. Yes, she failed to score the 3-pointer there at the end, but she'll be pleased with her overall performance in this tournament so far.
Yes, indeed. Well, Phil Jackson said it best. Talent, hard work, and a little bit of luck is what gets people wins in games, and that luck came in the hands of Ingrid Mukauro at the baseline. The biggest field goal of her career, maybe not, but certainly of this game, and Mozambique will play for 5th and 6th position in the classification games tomorrow. Final score, Mozambique 59, Cote d'Ivoire 57. We have more game action for you today with the semifinals happening on later in the day. Don't go too far. We'll be back.